Hey there, how we all doing? This is another Route 24 video. This is our Caligula Overdose playthrough for the PS4. If you happen to miss the last part, you can check the description. I'll put a link to it down there. We're still in like the same second dungeon. We're looking for Sweet Pea. It turns out the game is divided in just by composers. So we're on like the Sweet Pea chapter. At the end of the first chapter, Kagi P, we got a cutscene with all the enemies, and I assume we'll have to fight all of them eventually. There was quite a few actually. There was like more than I thought. But how I think it works is that each like member of the Go Home Club kind of has their mirror in the composers. So just however big our group is, I assume that's how big the other group is. We need to go look for the second Flower Princess? The second one, right? We've only seen one. We had to do like a test. We had to find something that was really cute. And then we gave them cake, which is, I guess, which can be cute. Just grab this thing. I haven't been like really paying attention to like the scenery. It's like a mall. It's supposed to be like modeled after like a nice fashion shopping district, but like these are all like food actually. I haven't even seen like, I feel like most of it is food. Like this display case is the same as that display case, which is the same as that display case, which is also the same as that display case. And I don't know. It looks like it's pasta, right? It's a pizza on top and then whatever. Not important. Now I'm not sure if that's like supposed to be intentional. Like if it's intentionally supposed to be all food, like if that's like a hidden message, or if the developers were just like, no one's gonna notice, we're just gonna all food. I really like the food display cases that they have here in Japan. So like that display out there by that shop where it has all the dishes, like that's just like so you can go and kind of look at like a really easy, simple menu in a sense. I've just gotten used to it, I guess, from seeing it so often. But like when I first came to Japan as a tourist, all those years ago, and I didn't know Japanese. Like that for me was really helpful. I could just be like, oh, well, I know that this store sells this kind of food. And if the menu has pictures as well, I can like point to that thing. So I really appreciated it back then. I still appreciate it now, even like as you're just like in a mall or something like this, and you're looking for food, you're kind of hungry. A lot of the restaurants will just be like lined up next to each other, so you don't really need to like look into the restaurant per se. You can actually just like, as you're walking, just get a really good idea what kind of food is in that restaurant. It's like just like a quality of life thing. That enemy had insane hang time. She was like in the middle of her jump as time was frozen, so just that looked kind of cool. Yeah, I know, like I've been mentioning, it's all food, god damn. It's all food. This is not food, that's not edible, unless you eat sweaters and stuff, but yeah, I've been mentioning recently that it's been like really, really hot in Japan. Not so much anymore, it's starting to cool down a little bit. It's still like in its 30s, like Celsius obviously. So it's not too bad, but it's getting a little cooler. But a couple weeks ago, like at the beginning of August, there was like that heat wave going through, and I remember seeing on Twitter in Japan, and I guess around the internet as well, not only Twitter, but in some parts of the country where it was like really hot, those like food display cases, they're just encased in glass, right? So when it was like really, really hot outside, those like melted. Like, because they're made of plastic, right? And they just like, the food just like legit melted in there. You might have seen, this was last year I think, or maybe it was 2 years ago, but also a picture from Japan. There was like a guy who put like a rubber duck or something on his car dashboard, and then it like melted. It just legit melted. And I know it's on Reddit actually. So if you are a common if you're on Reddit all the time, you might have already seen it. It's funny because like a lot of people are debating. They're like, oh, that's a fake picture. Like the angle isn't the same, the car isn't the same, it's not even the same dash. But like, I'm like reasonably sure, I'm like 95% sure that like it just looks like a different dash because the angle is different. Like you can't see, like the dash is sloped really. And in the first picture when the duck is not melted, it doesn't look like it's sloped at all. But then in the second melted picture, the guy took the picture from higher up. He like, because he wanted us, I assume, to get like all of the melted duck in the picture, and it just looked different. It's a bit of a tangent, but I got there from melted stuff. Anyways. So this is the next flower princess, and she's like, that looks just like Rose.
俺知ってるぜ。ああいうのゲーム業界じゃ色替えって言うんだろ。さっきのと色以外全く一緒じゃねえか。
He's like saying like, I've seen this before. This is a palette swap, like in games.
あの人がリリーですかね。地獄にもユリって咲いてるんでしょうか。
Ooh. He was like, oh, her name is Lily. I guess lilies also bloom in hell.
坂道で転んだらどうなっちゃうんだろう。
Like if she fell down while like, okay, if she fell down while like going uphill or something, what would happen?
また見てください先輩。床たわんじゃってませんか？
She's like, take a look. Isn't the floor bending or something?
どうしたらそこまでブクブク太れるんだろう。信じらんない。
Everyone is being really mean towards these people.
みふえちゃん、また？
みふえちゃんでしたっけ？あの子さっきから反応が過剰ですよね。太った人に恨みでもあるんでしょうか。
Yeah, he's saying like, your response has been like, what's the word? Excessive, really. He's like, you seem to be, exaggerating or something like that. Like, do you have some kind of grudge against fat people?
部長は何か知ってるんですか？ま、そうですよね。他人の事情なんて深入りしない方がいいですよ。
さあさあ、推薦もらいに行っちゃうわよ。
He like asked me if I knew anything, and I just stoically shook my head. And he's like, yeah, it's probably better not to pry into the private matters of people. Just checking out what's behind here. Half expecting an item or something, but alright, whatever. Let's talk to Lily.
花の妖精フラワープリンセスのリリーに何の用？スイートピー様の秘密の花園に参加したいの？あなたでは少し場違いかも。あなたみたいなもやしっ子が秘密の花園に参加したいなんて100キロ早いかな？
そんなの私悲しい。
She's saying we're not good enough, it looks like, to join the tea party.
でもそれだけで機会を奪ってしまうのはとってもかわいそうだよね。だから私があなたをテストしてあげる。
Alright, but she will test us because she's like, it's kind of, what's the word? Sad, I guess, to take the chance away
ちゃ
from
んと
you.
乗り越えることができたら推薦を出してあげるからね。
Okay, so in order to join the tea party, you need strength that is like appropriate for a princess. So there are like 4 like emperors or something in this area. They're like really strong. If we can beat them, we'll get her recommendation. So all we got to do is fight them, I guess. That's good. That's like my specialty. Okay, well, conveniently they're just all like laid out here. So we don't have to look very hard. Hey, the first one's just like just up here, it looks like. Okay, this is the first one.
ぶっ飛ばしてやろうぜ水
Alright, what are you?
小太郎先輩
Level 18. So that's actually like pretty much our level. So I assume this would be a fair fight. Just to see, like, I'm curious because we've been like face rolling pretty much all the fights. Let's not use our overdose skill. Let's actually try to do this fight properly and see what happens. And if it's still easy, then we know that like the normal difficulty actually is
行きますよ
really easy. Alright, well that answers that question.
次もこの調子で行こうね
Alright, well we can go on. We clearly beat her. So just like good luck with the other people. What is this guy's deal? Can I talk to you? Are you talkable? Okay, you can talk to him, but he doesn't really say anything important. Oh, there's a thing here. Let me just grab that. This mall is so big. I mean, obviously it's not real. Like, number one, it's a game, actually. And number two, it's supposed to be not the real world in this game, so it makes sense that it's like huge and sprawling and just all restaurants.
ケンスケ調子はどう
絶好調に決まってるじゃないですか
いらっしゃいます
チャンス取れ
Oh yeah, no, auto, of course. Just, I keep forgetting that sometimes auto just turns itself off and then you have to turn it back on if you want to use auto again. Yeah, I like how this is so obviously fake. It would never exist, at least in Japan, because it's not crowded, because there's not like it's not packed with people. At least like it would be in Tokyo. I mean, you would even have the space for it, obviously, like unless it's in the outskirts of Tokyo. Like in Chiba, actually, if you live in Chiba or if you commute to Chiba, it's a little more spacious there, and it's close enough to Tokyo that I think it's considered like a bedroom town. But there's space-ish, like at least more space than downtown Tokyo. So maybe you could get like a big mall like this, but this is like empty. I mean, obviously, it's not like it's like double not real. I just got sidetracked by killing all of those enemies. Okay, there should be another enemy here. Alright. She is supposed to be the prettiest of the emperors. Oh, and the strongest, okay. It'd be funny if she was just like, I'm the prettiest, but also like the weakest.
全力で行く
She's level 17. I thought the other one was level 18. Okay, well, for someone who's supposed to be the strongest, let's see how this fight goes. I'm just gonna mash circle. That's how confident I am. Okay.
やったねみふえちゃん向かうところ敵なしってやつですね
You know what? Rather than like thinking about like maybe I should have like chosen hard or something, I'm really curious. Like, what's easy? If this is not easy, what's easy? I mean, it's not all bad, I guess. I mean, I guess you could just like enjoy the story. And I know like I'm sure the story's all right. Maybe.
さっさと終わらせましょう
手加減はしない
I mean, the story was good enough to get an anime, so presumably if you take the gameplay away from the game, the story should be strong enough to be entertaining, right? I think that's kind of why fighting game animes maybe don't do that good, because a lot of fighting games, almost all of them have stories, but I think it's secondary to gameplay So when you take a game like that and then turn it into an anime, that's, you know, all about like, it's like a passive media. Like, how do you make the story entertaining enough for people to come back? I mean, unless the story was like really good, but I haven't like played a fighting game where the story was like so good that I wanted to like talk to my friends about it or something like that. That being said, though, I've gone on weird late night like fan wiki dives into the lore behind Mortal Kombat, because like there's a lot of Mortal Kombat games, and they recently like rebooted the timeline. Well, not recently, I guess. That would have been a couple years at this point, but there's like a lot of games in that series, and like other than like the first 3 that I played as a kid, I like never played any of the Mortal Kombat games. So I was like, how is the story? What happened here? How do they string this together? And I ended up reading about it for a while. Okay, this is obviously another emperor, but she's like really timid. She's like humble and modest. Also level 19. Yeah, I think we'll just stick with quad trigger. I think that's her strongest attack. And I'll just let everyone run on auto. She is actually, I think, the strongest. She's the only one so far who hasn't died in a single turn. I mean, almost dead. Now she's dead. Alright, she's just saying like good luck on the last part of the test, which is just over here. It's convenient that they're all located in like the cardinal directions, and you can just run in a circle. Technically, you're not backtracking. There's like weird times where I think the frame rate drops. I noticed it last time after we used our overdose skills, when we just spammed them back to back. We got like what feels like a frame drop. Oops. But I don't know. I wonder like when the game is out on PC if we'll get better performance. Sometimes like you would think you'd get better performance, but that's not always the case when it comes to certain games. Alright, she is obviously one of these emperors. She's like combining cuteness and beautifulness for like the strongest, like the greatest existence. It's a weird translation. Yeah, I'm not a professional translator. Like, that's not my actual job, so sometimes my translations are weird. Shooting, we can use one of these skills. Oh, we got... Okay, something. Just close that. Okay, this is like new. So I just got something like a word or a world. Wado. So word then. Warudo rewado. World reward. Okay, so that thing we just got, I guess, is like a key to opening some kind of door somewhere. So it's some kind of like end game contents, I guess. So So I guess after you've done the story, this is stuff you can tackle, it looks like. Alright, so it's like so there's like a bunch of people in this world that kind of lost their existence, and just their remnants of their spirit still remain here, but they're really, really strong, and they've been like sealed off in certain parts of the world. So like opening these doors is just like finding out what happened to them. It's obvious, yeah, so to open these doors you will need to find some words, I guess, that drop randomly. It did mention something like you can cooperate passively with other people, and I think that means like actual real players. It said there was like, where was that? If you go to record here. Okay, so that's the one we got, number 1, boss gate, question mark, and NCYP. So that's filled in, and hitting circle will actually let you type in like something, it looks like. So I think what this means is if I talk to someone like on the internet who has the other parts of the password, I guess you could just type it in? Maybe? I wonder if it's the same password between the English and the Japanese releases. I don't know, like I don't think they would change the password unless they didn't want like English players to just go on the internet and look at all the passwords that people have put up from the Japanese game. Alright, let's just turn this in. Turn in this quest. Yeah, it wasn't that hard. Thank you. So the next princess is named Iris. So we have to get her recommendation before we can go to the tea party. I guess she's the last one then, from the way that she's phrasing it. Whoops. Okay, well that was the end of her, what is it, dialogue. You didn't miss nothing. You didn't miss anything. Yeah, Mifei seems to be pushing herself, so Kotono is concerned.
つっても今さら誰かが変わるわけにもいかんだろう。頑張ってもらうしかないな。
そうなんだけど、今回はあの子に頼りすぎちゃったから少し気になるのよね。
Alright. So our next destination is down there in the bottom left corner. Alright, well, I think that's a good place to take a break. We have just like one more Flower Princess to go. So we'll get on that in the next part. If you don't want to miss the next part when it comes up on the channel, just keep an eye on it. It'll be up really, really soon. Let me know what you thought. You can leave a comment down below. You can follow me on Twitter. I'll put a link to my profile down in the description. And since you're still here, want to head on over to the channel and find another video to watch. But as always, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again. Take care.